Hi, Lori Montry. I'm a trauma-informed eating psychology coach, which means I help you understand why you have the patterns that you do with food and how you can overcome them. So let me start with a little bit of background. Emotional eating is such a difficult challenge. In fact, for many people, it's all-consuming. In reality, it's really just a learned pattern and a way to deal with a nervous system that is activated, or as I say, is in survival mode, whether that is sympathetic or in overwhelm. Now, I have another YouTube video called the Nervous System and Emotional Eating that goes into more detail around how the nervous system is connected to emotional eating. So I really encourage you to watch that video because together with this video, there's a lot of important information on your nervous system that's going to support you in overcoming those unwanted patterns with food. For most of us, food is the easiest way to regulate ourselves. It stimulates the vagus nerve, it gives a hit of good dopamine, and brings a lot of comfort. So it makes sense that many of us use food to deal with life when life feels like more than we can handle. Now, I really want to talk to you today and help you understand that control is not the answer. The traditional approach for eating challenges is things like keep a food diary, ask yourself if you're actually hungry, distract yourself with a healthier behavior like taking a walk, watching a movie, playing with your cat, right? Surfing the internet or calling a friend. Take away the temptation, which means don't keep hard to resist comfort foods in your home. And if you feel angry or blue, postpone your trip to the grocery store, right? Don't deprive yourself. Have lots of low-calorie food on hand so you don't do a lot of damage when you choose to eat emotionally. Now, these are not bad suggestions, and some of them might work from time to time, but these popular tools focus more on controlling yourself than on the real solution. And for that reason, they're usually not effective, and they don't help you get to the root of the issue. They don't help you understand why you feel compelled to eat when you aren't hungry in the first place, and it goes against the goals that you want to achieve. Most people find that suggestions that are geared towards control are impossible to carry out in the moment when their nervous system is in the state of survival, because in that state of survival, you don't even feel like you have the ability to make a conscious choice to try some other strategy. You may even forget in the moment that there's an option to do anything other than eat. So what's needed in those moments when you're feeling triggered and your nervous system is activated is to understand what's triggering you, how to regulate yourself without the use of food. So we're going to dive into an actual exercise to help you learn more about your nervous system and how you can regulate it. But first, I want to give you just a little bit of background about what's going on for you and your nervous system when you're feeling triggered. In that triggered state, you're essentially shut down. Your survival or limbic system takes over, starts driving your thoughts and your actions. And this survival system is only concerned about your survival in the next 2 minutes. It does not consider your long-term goals. It does not have access to your creativity or your good ideas. It simply wants to do what's fastest and easiest to calm this sense of danger that you're feeling. So if you've used food in the past and it kind of worked, at least for a little bit, right? That's what it's going to demand. That's what your brain is going to go to because it thinks that it has to in order to keep you safe in this moment. That's why there's very little thought happening in your triggered moments. It's more likely that you feel like a robot that's operating from a set program. Your survival system doesn't believe there's anything else that will keep you safe in that moment, and it really isn't willing to have a conversation about whether petting your cat or going for a walk would be effective. It has an important job to do right now, which is to help you deal with this sense of danger. And this is why trying to control yourself in that moment is ineffective as a long-term strategy in overcoming unwanted food patterns. So if control is not the answer, what is? If we go back and look at the reason why food is most often being used is to calm the nervous system. So the solution rests with meeting that need, paying attention to your nervous system in a different way. How do we calm the nervous system and help it shift from overstimulation or overwhelm back into a place of calm aliveness? Somatic experiencing is one of the most powerful and easiest ways. And the way I like to think about applying somatic experiencing is number one, in the actual moment, and number two, what I call working around the periphery. So here's what I mean by that. It's important to recognize that when you're in the moment of triggered situation with food, your capacity is limited. So while it's great to use your tools in the moment, You're going to have luck sometimes and other times not so much, and that's okay. But doing work outside the moment is actually more important because number one, it's going to result in fewer situations where you're feeling triggered. And number two, it's going to be able to help you notice when you're headed into a triggered situation so that you can use those tools before you get into that highly triggered state, which in some ways is the point of no return. So, as I said, somatic experiencing is a very valuable tool for helping your nervous system become regulated. And so I'd like to offer you a very simple somatic practice for you to take away and start implementing today. Now, the ideal situation is when you can learn somatic experiencing with an instructor in a course such as my 6-week nervous system course, which is offered on its own and also as part of the first segment of my Freedom from Emotional Eating program. But this exercise that I'm going to lead you through is definitely something that can start you in a powerful direction of being able to master your nervous system so that you no longer have those maladaptive strategies such as emotional eating to help you shift out of survival state. So let's go through the exercise together and then we can talk about how to integrate it in your day-to-day life. This exercise is a combination of grounding, orienting, and then support for the belly and heart. And this is something that will be very powerful, remember, for you to do anytime, especially when you're noticing that your nervous system is slipping into a bit of survival. So the place where you first start to notice, right? Where you first start to notice, ooh, I'm getting a little activated. That's where you have tremendous power. If you wait until you're really triggered, right, you simply have less of a connection to your prefrontal cortex or your higher brain. And it's that brain that can notice what's going on, remind you of your long-term goals, and help you make a better plan. So we want to keep that connection with your prefrontal cortex as strong as possible. So, I always suggest setting an alarm or simply making it a point to fit this exercise into your day every 2 or 3 hours, especially as you're in the beginning stages. It's also great to try to use this when you're in those highly triggered moments, but just remember that your capacity is low in those moments. So set your expectations accordingly during those times. If you're working outside the moment to get to know and support your nervous system, you're automatically going to see changes in your capacity in the triggered moments. And I really encourage you to see even the smallest shifts as important milestones in your journey to food freedom. So let's begin this exercise. This is a really shortened version just to give you a sense, all right? So we're going to put our feet flat on the floor, and we're just going to feel the floor kind of pushing up and supporting us. Really feel that we have some support underneath us. I want to start to get in touch with my nervous system. I want to understand what's happening there, what sensations come up in the body. And then I'm just going to use my eyes to bring in some information that I am safe. As I look around the room, and this is something that you can expand on, but as I look around the room and I'm feeding my eyes through my eyes, and I'm feeding the nervous system the sense that everything is safe and there's nothing in my environment that is threatening, then I can relax a little bit and just come back to the sensation and being present in my body. And at this point, I'm going to invite you to put a hand on your heart and one on your belly. And I want you just to pay attention and notice what changes might be produced in your body. And I'm going to continue. You stay here, really feeling this support. And as you do that, I'm going to continue to explain a little bit. There's not a certain way you're supposed to feel. It's really more about going through the motions and seeing what comes up for you as you tune in and listen intently to your nervous system. You may feel a sense of relief, relaxation, deep spontaneous breath, right? You may feel an area of your body that feels hot or cool. You may feel an activation. Literally anything is normal and accepted. So as you sit here and continue to pay attention, let me just recap what we talked about in this video. Number one, emotional eating is incredibly common. It has a psychological, physiological, and neurological reason, which also means that you're never doing anything wrong when you emotionally eat. You deserve understanding and compassion at those times. Number two, trying to control yourself when you're in a triggered moment is next to impossible. Number three, the most effective way to overcome challenges with food is learn to stay out of the highly triggered moments, right? Not control yourself when you're in them. And the best way to stay out of highly triggered moments is to be aware of the state of your nervous system and take action at the earliest point possible to bring yourself into a space of calm aliveness or nervous system regulation. Number 5, somatic experiencing is one of the best ways to get to know your nervous system and shift you out of survival mode. Finally, rather than putting all your energy into controlling yourself with food, put your energy into getting to know your nervous system, getting adept at noticing when it's slipping into survival, how you can come back to calm aliveness. Now, if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel so that I can reach out, so I can reach more people. I can better support you in your journey toward food and body freedom. I want to mention to you and encourage you to sign up for my free resources, which you can find at freedombynuaria.com. Nuaria is spelled Nuuaria. That link is in the notes for this video. And in that Freedom channel, you will find so many resources, all free, just from my heart to yours, to help you understand what your challenges are all about and how you can overcome them. There's a free mini course, there's master classes, there's interviews, there's worksheets, and many things that can help you on this journey toward food and body freedom. So again, somatic experiencing, which you're actually doing right now through supporting and feeling that presence of your own loving self, support your body. Here we're talking about support for the heart and support for the belly. If you're interested in learning more about somatic experiencing and how it can benefit your nervous system and thereby help you overcome challenges with food, please reach out to me and we can connect and get you started on your path towards food and body freedom. Sending you so much love.